humility seems to be such a big word and can get misunderstood. How do you describe humility and why it's so important?
I mean, the first thing I'll say is that humility for me is in response to awe. And I feel that that is so important to keep in mind, because we hear the word humility and we often hear it as punitive. You know, you're not humble enough, you're too arrogant, you're this or that, or whatever. Right? And we all are, of course, most of us, on and off, we are all of those things. But humility goes back to that journey I was talking about earlier that's so universal, that we have a moment of just speechlessness before the wonder, whether it's a sunset, whether it's, a saguaro in the desert, or the sequoias, or some beauty in the world, the birth of a child. We're just like in a moment of wonder, of awe. And it's that awe that places us in the context of the cosmos. Like, we are not the center of everything, right? We are not in charge of everything. Our ego isn't the most important thing that's operating in the universe. And if we allow the experience to enter into us, we begin to see, as I said earlier, how far away our life is from that moment of grace, if you want to call it, that moment of wonder, transcendence. And so in the beginning, to me, humility is a kind of like a bowing down, right? I bow down to the transcendent. I offer myself as a pilgrim or a disciple, or whatever word you want to use, to the search not only for the search for that truth or that wonder, but devoting my life to seeing it manifested. Humility, it begins from this sense of, I'm so blessed to have a moment of this experience. And because of that, how do I express my gratitude? How do I live up to that? And the way I live up to it, and I'm using my own language, is to say that I seek to be empty of all those attributes of my personality that would try to harm or try to segregate or try to be ambitious at the expense of other people, would do injury, etc. Right? So it's not just a momentary experience. It's an experience that pierces your soul and says, what can I do? How can I be like unto what I've been given here for this brief moment? And then, of course, just on another piece of it is that humility comes from the Latin word humus, which means earth. And so it's very earthly. We're connected. We are of the earth. We belong to each other. And so, it's also an experience of love, that we are part of a whole together.